we're gonna drive the Bugatti Chiron for the first time since the accident. We come so close in the last video to being able to drive it, but we did manage to fit the new interior and the new radiators.
Many car lovers worldwide know that Ferrari and Bugatti closely protect their vehicles and technology. But after spending 2 years rebuilding damaged hypercars, Matt Armstrong reportedly faced a digital security lock that mechanical skill alone could not overcome. But now, Elon Musk and Matt Armstrong have made a major announcement that is already shaking the supercar industry. So what exactly did Musk and Armstrong reveal? And why are car fans saying Bugatti and Ferrari may have just lost control of the game? Elon Musk. Shocking announcement. On a Thursday evening, Elon Musk posted a thread on X that started with a strong and simple claim. He said that software locks on cars you own are a form of theft. The thread had 11 posts in total. Within just 4 hours, it had already gained more than 40 million views. This made it one of the most talked about posts on the platform, especially on the topic of car rules and ownership rights. In the first part of the thread, Musk focused on the bigger ideas behind the issue. He was not just talking about cars, but about control, ownership, and who has the right to fix what they buy. To explain this, he brought up a well-known conflict in the United States between farmers and the agricultural company John Deere. Farmers had discovered that modern tractors came with software locks. These locks stopped them from doing simple repairs on their own machines unless they got permission from official dealers. This meant that even if they owned the tractor, they could not fully repair it without outside approval. Musk also mentioned a major law in the European Union called the Digital Markets Act. This law is designed to make digital systems more open and compatible with each other. He suggested that rules like this could also apply to cars, especially the electronic control units, or ECUs, that manage how modern vehicles work. These systems control everything from engine performance to battery use, especially in electric and hybrid cars. From there, Musk connected the present situation to earlier tech fights. He pointed back to the 2010s when people argued about smartphone repairs. At that time, many users in repair shops complained that phone makers made it hard to fix devices without official parts or software. Musk said the same kind of struggle was now happening again, but this time in the car industry. After building this background, the thread moved from ideas to action. Musk revealed something new and more concrete. He said that a team made up of former Tesla and SpaceX engineers had been working for months on a universal diagnostic and reset tool. He made it very clear what this tool is not. Its purpose is to communicate with the internal systems in modern high-performance cars, including advanced hybrid vehicles. The key point is how it works within legal limits. The tool does not copy or steal any company's private software code. It does not break into protected systems. Instead, it uses standard communication methods to talk to a car's control units. Independent cybersecurity experts who looked at the tool's documents, which were shared publicly with the announcement, said the system appears to be legitimate. They confirmed that it is designed to follow existing laws while still achieving something that was previously very difficult. That includes tasks like resetting a hybrid battery management system after a serious crash. In many cases today, this kind of reset can only be done inside the manufacturer's own private network. The final part of the announcement was the most personal and attention-grabbing. Musk mentioned Matt Armstrong by name. He said Armstrong would be one of the first people to get full access to the new diagnostic tool. He would also receive help from a support team made up of former Tesla engineers to assist with the initialization work needed for a Ferrari 296 GTB, the impossible Ferrari rebuild. After a serious BMX accident, Matt Armstrong went back to the garage, but this time not as his father's helper. He returned as a content creator with a camera and a clear idea. Welcome to the Mark II channel. the second channel where we fix the Bugatti. I repaired this wire here on the crash sensor. He had seen automotive YouTube channels becoming more popular and realized something was missing. No one was fully showing the difficult and honest process of rebuilding heavily damaged luxury cars from the beginning. Most channels either removed the mistakes from their videos or only worked on cars that were easier to repair. Matt decided to begin with his girlfriend's crashed Audi TT. Kind of had a little bit of an accident. This will begin the project of the Audi TT. The car had been damaged in a crash, and the repair cost from a professional garage was higher than the value of the vehicle itself. That first rebuild video was not a huge success online, but it proved that the idea could work. After that, he started buying more damaged cars. First came BMWs, then a Porsche, and later a Lamborghini. And my crash dummy's Lamborghini SVJ. With every new project, his style improved. He showed the auction purchase, explained the damage, stripped the cars down to the bare frame, and searched for parts from salvage yards, collectors, and former factory workers who no longer worked for the manufacturers. Within 3 years, his channel grew past 6 million subscribers, making him one of the biggest automotive creators on YouTube. Matt's boldest project began when he bought a wrecked Ferrari 296 GTB at an auction in Cyprus. The previous owner had turned off the traction control while driving on an open road, lost control, and crashed badly. Well, something like this. A completely destroyed Ferrari 296. The damage was severe. The front suspension had been ripped away from its mounting points. Road debris had pierced through the floor pan. Wires across the front of the car were torn apart. The carbon fiber monocoque, which is the main structural part of the car, had cracks in several places. The front crash structure had absorbed a massive force and was damaged beyond normal repair. Ferrari's dealership in Cyprus inspected the car and decided that fixing it through official Ferrari channels was almost impossible. Ferrari Cyprus, but the quotes to repair it were astronomical. And on top of that, no one's ever repaired a 296 which has been this badly damaged. The repair cost was extremely high, even higher than the damaged car's value. The dealership recommended writing the vehicle off completely. Most people would have walked away at that point. Matt heard the same warning and still placed a bid of about 100,000 euros. A perfect Ferrari 296 GTB was worth more than $270,000. On paper, the numbers made sense, but only if he could solve problems that even Ferrari's trained technicians believed could not be fixed. When people discovered that a YouTuber had bought a wrecked Ferrari 296 GTB, the automotive world reacted with curiosity, shock, and heavy doubt. With the wreck now in his hands and Ferrari's official judgment already made, what path did Matt choose for the rebuild that surprised everyone and went far beyond what Ferrari expected? Will he acquire another category of Ferrari? Let's find out. Ferrari 296 Challenge Stradale. Instead of just putting the car back to how it originally came from the factory, Matt chose a much bolder path. He decided to buy a full Ferrari 296 Challenge body kit. This was not a simple upgrade or a small cosmetic change. It was a complete set of racing parts that would completely transform the look and performance of the car. The kit needed repair first, and after that, Matt planned to modify it further, improve its design, and push it beyond its original limits. The parts in the kit included very light carbon fiber front and rear bumpers, a new rear diffuser designed to control airflow better, side skirts to improve stability, and a large, tall rear wing that stood out immediately. These parts were not just for appearance. They were designed for racing performance. The Ferrari 296 Challenge itself is a car made only for the track. It was created by Ferrari for its one-make racing series, meaning all drivers compete in the same type of car. This version is stripped of its hybrid system, fitted with a full roll cage for safety, and built only for racing on circuits. Ferrari never intended this version to be driven on public roads and never approved any road-legal version of it. Matt's ambition went even further. He wanted to build what no one had ever built before: the world's first road-legal Ferrari 296 Challenge Stradale. This would be a mix between a normal road car and a full racing machine, something Ferrari itself had never officially created. Achieving this goal required far more than simply changing body panels. Every major system of the car had to be reworked. The cooling system, for instance, had to be completely redesigned because the race version uses a central radiator layout that is very different from the road car. The suspension also had to be changed to match the wider stance of the Challenge version, which affects how the car sits and handles. Even the mounting points for the huge rear wing had to be custom built because the original car was never designed to handle that level of downforce and pressure. As the project continued over several months, something unexpected happened. Photographers near Ferrari's headquarters in Maranello managed to capture a heavily camouflaged prototype being tested on public roads. At first glance, it looked like a 296 model, but it had a massive rear wing, larger air intakes in the front bumper, and a vented hood. Experts who studied the images carefully came to a clear conclusion. Ferrari itself appeared to be developing a road-legal version of the 296 Challenge. This was striking because Matt had already been building something very similar in his own workshop. The timing raised questions in the automotive world, and some journalists even began asking whether Ferrari's actions had anything to do with blocking or limiting Matt's project. Meanwhile, Matt continued working through challenges, including parts that Ferrari had restricted or refused to approve. On the mechanical side, Matt managed to solve every physical problem the damaged car presented. The build quality was high, and the car was fully assembled. However, when he finally tried to start it, nothing happened. The car remained completely dead. No matter what he tried, it would not turn on. He and his technician, known only as Dips, went through every possible solution. They used all available diagnostic tools on the independent market and tried clearing fault codes again and again. But every time they reset the system, the same errors came back immediately. Another serious issue appeared during testing. The diagnostics showed that part of the car's electronic system was not communicating properly, as if a section of the internal network had never been fully activated. After careful inspection, they traced the issue to damaged CAN wiring inside one of the replacement harnesses. The wires were repaired, circuits were carefully checked and isolated, and they tried again. Even after all the mechanical and electrical fixes, the problem still remained. At this point, Matt was left facing a difficult decision about what to do next. So, would he contact Ferrari directly, or would he give up on the project entirely? And once he finally made his decision, what followed after that moment? Let's take a closer look. Ferrari Service Dilemma. Matt reached out directly to Ferrari by email. In his message, he explained the full story of the rebuild, the conversion into a challenge-style setup, the hundreds of hours he had spent working on the car, and the large amount of money involved. He only asked for one simple thing: a software reset. When a reply from Ferrari finally came, it was deeply disappointing and felt like a loop with no way out. The company repeated its official rules. Before they could do any service, the car first had to be checked by an approved Ferrari body shop. All parts had to be confirmed as real Ferrari parts and fitted correctly. On top of that, any changes made to the car, especially the Challenge body kit and the modified cooling system, would need to be reversed. This put Matt in a difficult situation. For Ferrari to even look at the car, it had to be returned to factory condition. But to return it to factory condition Matt would have to spend even more money undoing months of careful work. And even after doing all of that, there was still no promise that Ferrari would actually give him the software reset he requested. They could still refuse for another reason later. People close to the situation also revealed something more serious happening behind the scenes. Ferrari was not just refusing service, they were carefully recording every change made to the car. This included the Challenge body kit installation, the redesign of the cooling system, changes to the suspension setup, and the process used to repair the carbon fiber parts. This information was not being gathered to help fix the car later. Instead, it was being prepared for possible legal action. According to automotive legal analysts, the legal position of Ferrari is built on three main arguments. The first is intellectual property. Ferrari claims that the software inside the 296 GTB hybrid system is private and protected. It controls key functions of the car, including engine and hybrid performance. The company argues that the code and tuning data are trade secrets and that trying to bypass or reverse engineer them is illegal. In Matt's case, the dashboard reportedly showed messages like, "Hybrid system failure, go to dealer." The second argument is safety and responsibility. Ferrari says that if a car is rebuilt outside their approved methods using non-certified parts or repair techniques, it could become unsafe. They also argue that if such a car is involved in an accident, it could seriously harm the brand's reputation and create major liability risks. The third argument is contractual control. Ferrari claims that when someone buys one of their cars, they agree, implicitly or through ownership conditions, to keep it in factory condition, using approved parts and official procedures. If the owner breaks those conditions, Ferrari says it has the right to refuse service, refuse parts, and possibly take legal steps. This third point is especially important because it could reach the UK Supreme Court. It raises a legal question that has never been fully settled in UK law: how much control a manufacturer should have over a product after it has been sold to a private owner. But Ferrari was not Matt's only problem. Another major company in the automotive industry was also beginning to take interest in his work and actions. What company could it be? Could she also be into hypercars? Bugatti Chiron rebuild dispute. Matt also bought a heavily damaged Bugatti Chiron Pure Sport. This is one of the most extreme hypercars ever made. It uses a massive W16 engine with 4 turbochargers, producing around 1,500 horsepower. That kind of power is usually hard to even imagine, but in this car, it is all packed into a machine that still has to be controlled and made usable on real roads. Even in used condition, a car like this can cost more than $3 million. The Chiron is not a simple car at all. It is one of the most complicated production vehicles ever built. It has a full carbon fiber monocoque chassis, which means the whole main structure of the car is made from extremely strong and lightweight carbon fiber. It also uses a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox and an advanced all-wheel drive system. All of this is designed to keep the car stable even when it is pushed close to 260 miles per hour. Very few cars in the world can even come close to that level of performance. However, rebuilding a car like this is not easy, especially when the original manufacturer refuses to help. Bugatti, like Ferrari, would not provide official support or parts for the rebuild. But Bugatti's response was different in tone and approach. Mate Rimac, the founder of Rimac Automobile and now the CEO of Bugatti Rimac, after the two companies merged, publicly spoke out. He used his social media accounts to directly question some of Matt's claims about how the rebuild was being done. Rimac suggested that what Matt was attempting could not realistically be done in a normal garage. In his view, only a handful of places in the world had the proper equipment to handle such complex work, and only a small number of highly trained specialists could carry it out correctly. This made the situation more intense, because it was not just a private disagreement anymore. It had become a public challenge between a major automotive CEO and an independent builder with a large online audience. The main disagreement focused on technical details. One issue was whether some parts used in the rebuild were three-dimension printed. Another was whether Matt had correctly described how he obtained Bugatti-branded components. These questions quickly turned into a serious debate about accuracy, sourcing, and engineering standards. In response, Matt did not stay silent. Instead, he shared detailed videos showing the entire process. He displayed the parts he used, explained where they came from, and documented every step of the sourcing process. He also walked viewers through the engineering choices he made, as well as his conversations with suppliers and how each component was installed. Eventually, the most important moment came when the W16 engine was started in his workshop. The engine came to life and the car moved under its own power. This was a major turning point because it proved that the rebuild had worked mechanically and electrically. With two of the world's most powerful car companies standing against him, what unexpected event changed everything and turned the situation in a direction no one saw coming? Could it be the collaboration between Musk and Matt? Let's find out. So, what do you think about Elon Musk and Matt Armstrong's announcement? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.